Welcome to Capital Combat. The name says it all. I'm Hakeem Branch, and I'll be later joined by Rob. And today we're going to be talking about this Saturday's Showtime Championship Boxing broadcast, in which we have 4 title fights starting on Showtime Extreme. The main card, we have 2 title fights. But in those fights on the main card, we have Gervonta Davis challenging Jose Pedraza for the 130-pound strap owned by Pedraza. Then we have a 168-pound unification between Badou Jack and James DeGale. So I'm going to toss it over to Rob, and he's going to give you his side of what he feels is going to happen tonight, and then I'll bring it on home. What you got, Rob?
Hey, what's going on, everyone? So I don't know about you, but I, like Hakeem, is looking forward to this weekend's fights. Going down at the Barclays, like you said, we'll be heading up there to watch the fight, and hopefully to bring you something right afterwards, right after the fight, whether it's there, getting an interview, or even just a recap afterwards. So basically, we got Badou Jack versus James DeGale. It's an interesting matchup. It's going to be a tactical matchup because these guys, I don't really think there's any kind of clear advantage for each fighter. We got Badou Jack, who's the more consistent fighter. He goes at one speed throughout the fight, and he kind of does little adjustments here and there, and I think he pinpoints his shots a little bit better. He's not really that strong. Well, he's not really that powerful, and he's not like super fast, but he does have pretty good speed, and he's able to catch his opponents off guard. He knocked down George Groves in their match, and he's actually got defense, so he's very steady in his approach. Unlike James DeGale, who is much more flashy, he's faster. I wouldn't say he's the harder puncher, but I do think he's the more explosive puncher. And now that he has his a strength and conditioning coach for the first time ever, he may not have that tendency to let off his opponent in the middle rounds. You can see it in several of his fights, especially in the fight with Andre Dirrell, where he kind of let him off the hook. He knocked him down a few times, and Andre Dirrell just got back up, adjusted, and tended to push the pace. With DeGale, anytime he's really pushed, he tends to back up against the ropes. And that's literally what you don't want. That happened versus Porky Medina, but we know Badou Jack isn't that kind of fighter. Porky Medina is a come-forward pressure fighter. He gave James DeGale all that he could handle, to the point where the win for DeGale was controversial because Medina did do great work in there, but at this point, I don't think he had the shots or hit him. And remember, you judge a fight round by round. It's not based off momentum or how many punches landed. I mean, someone can land way more punches in a few rounds, but still lose every other round. So it's a very interesting matchup. I think they will trade knockdowns. I think it's going to all 12. I also think that DeGale's going to surprise Badou Jack first, and then you'll see the adjustments from Jack. And I think he could catch DeGale coming in. Or those rounds, if he does take him off, he's going to come at that same pace, and it's going to start to wear on DeGale more and more. Plus, I think Badou Jack actually works the body much better. So if he does do a lot of moving around, the one thing that Badou Jack wants to do is take his legs from him. So that'll be an interesting fight. With Gervonta Davis versus Jose Pedraza. I am so sorry about that. Gervonta Davis, as long as he doesn't rush in his offense, he has a very, very good chance of winning. He wants to get on the inside, and he wants to throw those huge bombs. He is a power puncher, and he places his shots well. The problem with Gervonta Davis is that he has a good chin, but he gets caught a little too much, and I think that's from rushing his offense and open it up. I mean, you're going to get caught when you open up, but with Davis, he gets tagged a little bit more than I think he should. But again, this is where bodywork is going to come into play versus Jose Pedraza. Pedraza is just like his name says. He's a sniper. He fights from the outside, and not only that, but he can really shoot off some combinations. But he gets hit clean as well. And I think Gervonta Davis from that southpaw stance is going to give Pedraza a hard time, especially if he can get on the inside and work. Now, when Pedraza starts firing off, can he weather those shots, make him glance some blows, or is he going to get hit clean? Because Pedraza, I've seen him, especially in his last few fights, he can reel off 4, 5, 6 punch combinations from the outside. And he's not afraid to mix it up. He will move on them. He's going to circle from the outside, and he's going to set up everything with the jab. Davis can set up with the jab, but I think he likes that lead right hook. And then he likes to come in with that left, but I think he likes that lead right hook. Again, it's going to be really interesting. Both of them, people say that Pedraza is a contender, not a contender, but a prospect with a belt. I don't believe that. He has some quality wins, but he doesn't have that name. And Gervonta Davis is looking to take that big step up and get a belt, because he's also in on that prospect contender status. I think one more name for both of them to set up this fight would have done both of them a lot of good. But hey, when people are going to clash, they're going to clash. I'm looking for Gervonta Davis to really lay some leather and actually beat Jose Pedraza late round stoppage. I think Pedraza is smart enough not to get caught early, but I think some of those body shots are really going to wear down on Pedraza and really slow him down. And he's not going to be taking advantage of those 3, 4, 5 punch combinations like he will in the first half of the fight. So I'm looking for Pedraza to start off fast and start catching Davis. And Davis is going to inch closer. All it takes is one big punch from Davis to really land and change this fight. Lastly, I want to shout out to the Richmond's own Emmanuel Leem. He'll be fighting for a belt. He's undefeated. He'll be fighting Yevgen Krylov out of the Ukraine. If you know anything about the Ukraine, they have some very good fighters, especially in the last 4, 5, 6 years that really come out of there and can really fight. Heavy-handed, but he's kind of up and down, back and forth. He doesn't really have much lateral movement and doesn't really throw a lot of punches at one time. I think he and Emmanuel Leem are going to stand in trade, but I think Emmanuel is really going to start getting the best of him in those punches because he places them much better. But I'm looking for Emmanuel to really take it to him, get this belt, and bring it home to Richmond. Take it away, Akeem.
All right. Now, Rob made some excellent points in his thoughts about these fights coming up. There's really not too much to add. We both discussed how we felt those fights were going to go, and you hear both of our thoughts in what Rob said. As far as picks go, I am leaning the same way. I'm going to go with Davis by late round stoppage. And for the main event, I'm actually going to go with DeGale. I think he'll start out fast enough to bank enough rounds, and he lands enough showy, accurate punches to sway the judges to pick up a close, maybe another controversial decision. Like Rob said, and we've discussed several times, DeGale has a tendency to slow down and take a few rounds off, and that's going to give Jack, who is a very capable and consistent fighter, a chance to get back into the fight. And I think we're going to see that. Like Rob said, the big question mark is how much did the addition of a strength and conditioning coach aid DeGale in his stamina and his confidence in that stamina to keep a consistent fight for 12 rounds or be able to rest less frequently. But even so, I think even with the past DeGale, he still has enough to make it past Badou Jack and become a unified titleist. So, we are going to give you some small clips. We'll probably go live on Facebook. So if you're not a fan on our Facebook page, make sure you like that so you can chat with us during the fight, because like I said, we're going to go live a few times just to interact with you guys and show you guys what we see. You can hit us up on any of our social networks. The links are down below. If you have any questions, you can hit us up in the combat mailbag, CapitalofCombat@gmail.com. If you have not done so yet, now is a great time to subscribe. Thank you very much. And we'll see you guys in the recap. Happy New Year. Fight on.
This is round one, and you've already lost. They don't seem to see that everything we've done is coming and gone. My fists are on fire. I perform till I perspire. My demons are in a rage. Keep thinking that it's a game. I kick rhyme, hurricane. I told them I don't play. I'm liquid.
Black Street Fighter.